Hey everyone, we're making this video, and by we, I mean myself. I'm Mike, and with me as always is Corey. Say hi, Corey.
Hey, how's it going?
And we're making this video initially for Amiga Bill, because by the time the public sees this video, it will have already happened. But we're going to be back on the Amiga Bill show, and he's actually the first sort of public person outside of the development team who's going to be able to play the DaemonClaw demo of level 1 and 2. And so I just wanted to make a quick video to explain the moves and also give some basic tips on how to survive level 1 and level 2, because it's definitely a classic console style game. So the first time you play it, especially if you didn't read any kind of instructions or learn what the moves are, it's going to seem quite hard. But once
even with me waiting too much time in between playing, like I'll have, like it takes a
few attempts
learning, but it feels, it doesn't take long though for your memory to kick in, and
right.
Yeah, it feels solid, but
Alright, so here we go. So I'm just going to go into level 1, and if you're using an Xbox style controller, which I am, let's see here. So I think A is by default jump and B is attack. I'm going to double check that. So A is jump and B is attack, and eventually when the game is finished, we're probably going to have a way to customize your own input so you can pick what buttons or keyboard keys do what. But by default, A is jump, B is attack. If you stay in one spot for too long, an enemy might appear from the front or below, so be mindful of that. I think it doesn't happen at the very, very beginning. You have to walk at least a little bit. Oh, no, there's one. There we go. Now they're coming. Yep. All right, but anyway, so the first enemy there is to talk about is these falcons or hawks. And the easiest way to dispatch them is to do your uppercut, which is holding down and pressing attack, but you should be facing the right way to do it. So there you go. So you just basically duck and then press attack, or just press down and attack at the same time. And then, so that you can see the collisions are very forgiving, especially if you get start to get the power for your gauntlet, the magic gauntlet. So anyway, that's the first super move, is the uppercut, down and attack. While you are ducking, not only can you potentially duck a falcon that's swooping down at you, but out of the duck, you can also do a roll with the jump button. So down and jump will do this roll, and that lets you evade the swooping down falcons, as you could see. But it's usually better to attack them if you time it decently well. Also, don't panic, because you can actually, a well-timed punch, even before you have the firepower, can actually destroy them before they hit you. So the big thing to learn is don't panic, and just once you're used to the general timing, it's pretty forgiving, and you have a pretty decent window of time to get your attack out. And like I said, the collision boxes are intentionally quite friendly on the player's benefit. Your attack has a pretty wide range for most of your moves. So this is where it gets trickier. You get two sub-bosses at once. And one thing to know is you can roll right under the boomerang blade that they throw. So that's one really easy way to defeat them. And then the other thing is, out of that roll, at any moment, since you're already probably holding down, or not any moment, but like the last 2/3 of the roll, if you press attack, you'll do your uppercut right out of the attack. I meant to die, honest. But anyway, so you can see rolls, uppercut, and roll with an uppercut right out of it. So that's quite agile. And then
there's the higher jump, right? For getting the power up.
Yeah, that's a really important thing to know too. Very much like Black Belt, one of the main games that this game was inspired by. That's a Black Belt for the Sega Master System. The power-ups, when you destroy an enemy, you'll see these red and or blue orbs fly out of the explosion. And those go up into those gauntlet type symbols and fill those orbs up at the top of the screen on the HUD. And when they fill up, you'll see the arrow appear on the right, warning you that one of the power-ups is about to come on screen, and it gives you a sort of countdown. And then you have to, so normal jumping only gives you that much height, but if you hold up and then press jump, you're going to jump and clear the entire height of the screen, and you need to do that, basically a super jump or a high jump, to be able to collect them. But once you get really powered up enough, just your regular uppercut gets that high too, so you could simultaneously do a high attack and grab an item up there. And then the last really important thing to know is when you're up in the air, if you hold up and press attack, you'll actually do that overhead two-handed clobbering move. And if I time it well, you can see you can slam one of the air-based enemies out of the air and they'll go flying toward the ground. And if they hit a land-based enemy or another winged enemy, it'll actually do damage. So you could, so that's a lot of fun to do. There you go. I just slammed that falcon into that birdman.
And another tip I would say for now, as you're sort of doing here, is since we did add, enemies that spawn if you stay still too long.
You can grind,
You can grind and mine them to get more powerful before advancing in the level if you really, want to try to earn some health or something like that.
Yeah, and that with the easier enemies, that's a great point. We did not put a time limit on the level by default, so you can grind as long as you need to. And you'll see once you've grabbed a certain number of the blue power-ups, which is what gives you your magic gauntlet power. Once you've grabbed a certain number of them, if you grab one more, you get the flaming sort of. Naruto fans would know it as a cloak. Basically, this glow. You're glowing red, and what that does, not only does it make you your most powerful with your flame attacks, but also, when you get hit, instead of losing a health point, you just lose that cloak and you go back to your default power level. Mm-hmm. So that's all the really important stuff. Oh, one other thing, I didn't take the time to really balance this yet, but depending on how you kill enemies, they're going to drop more or less of the different colored orbs. So you can memorize, okay, if I kill this enemy this way with like the overhead clobber versus the uppercut or the regular punch, that'll give me the health replenishing power up that flies overhead instead, like I'll earn it faster. So eventually you'll remember, oh, if I do it this way, I'll get more blue orbs. So if your health is good, you can focus on doing the moves that give you the attacks that give you the blue orbs and so on. So I hope that makes sense. So, okay, yep.
And I was going to say another one, like the fireball you just did. If you don't have the power up and you hit, is it down an attack, I believe, while you're in the air, you do like a drop kick thing?
Right, great point. Yep, that was another move. So, and the other good thing to know is, in the first level, your uppercut stays an uppercut. It just remains flaming. But pretty much all of your special moves, depending on the level, when you gain the gauntlet power, that move might change to something that's functionally similar, but it's no longer an uppercut or a drop kick or an overhead clobber. So by default, when you're up in the air, if you hold down and press attack, I think it's attack. Yeah, down and attack, it'll be like a drop kick move. But then if you have your power, your gauntlet firepower, it's going to be shooting down a fireball that makes an explosion. But the other thing to keep in mind, you see that blue bar up there? Every time I do an attack, it empties a little bit. And if I do a strong magic attack, it empties a lot more. So the important thing to know about that is your magic attacks only come out if you have enough, that blue meter is full enough to do that magical attack. And if you don't have enough, if that blue bar is not full enough to do the thing you just tried to do, you'll be back to doing the basic thing. So you see, I just did the drop kick twice there. That's because I do not have enough, or I did not have at that moment, enough magical energy to do the fireball.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, pretty sophisticated.
Make sure no crazy spamming happens.
Right.
And
you could become too powerful
for that. You can become too powerful, and it also looks very weird when you can
float in the air forever,
like 5 times or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Especially because like time pauses in a sense for you, and you pause in the air when you do it. So you could literally stay in the air indefinitely before we put in that kind of cool off meter for the magic. And level 2 especially, once you got that lightning power, which you'll see soon see viewers, once you got that power, before we added the cool off, you were pretty much unbeatable. You could just walk through the level and just keep doing that whenever any enemies were on screen. So let me actually try to survive and get to the level 2, because I think we covered everything that's really important here. So obviously jumping above, and you can see I paused myself in the air on purpose there to not land on the boomerang blade.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another thing I didn't mention, yeah, you can break the boomerang blades with good timing. Oh, it looks like we found a bug. This guy isn't moving anymore. He's still facing us, but I'll fix that bug when I get a chance. But so yeah, a well-timed attack when the boomerang blade is flying at you will actually shatter it, and then that particular Birdman, he has to resort to just swiping at you with his claws, so he becomes a short-range enemy. So that's another great way to deal with them, especially if there's several of them on screen. So let's go to level 2 now. Usually there's a level 1 boss fight after level 1, but we skipped it. We're not ready to reveal the boss fight to the public yet, so I just programmed this demo to skip right to level 2. And so here we go. The real trick with this level is, again, try not to panic with those fire bombs that the enemies drop at you or throw at you. A well-timed punch, I'm saying that, but I'm getting destroyed, but a well-timed punch can actually deflect it back at the enemy, especially in the case of the ram men.
Yeah.
Oops, but yeah, I'm sucking up a storm here for now.
Yeah, enough of those owls coming in, they can really mess up.
Yeah.
And I would say that's sort of the disclaimer for level 2 right now, is it's not got a lot of the balancing and timing of the enemies like nearly as much as level 1. So it's still a bit of a work in progress, and we'll probably have some more graphical elements too going on before all is said and done. So.
Right. There's a really good chance we're going to add an actual snowing effect over the whole screen. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that being said, okay, I'm getting my power back by grinding a little bit here. So you can see how powerful this is getting. And if you could spam that, it kills all enemies and it incinerates the firebomb before it can hurt you. But the other thing I should mention, don't panic about the bombs if you're worried you're going to land on the explosion. I reprogrammed it so only the first frame of the explosion will hurt you. So if you land down on it and it's already started dissipating, it's not going to hurt you. So that's another thing to make it a little less difficult. Because until we did these tweaks, this level felt impossibly hard. But again, like we've not, with level 1, Corey and I both played it a bit, and we really discussed it and spaced out the enemies fairly carefully and made sure it was difficult but not too difficult and all that stuff. And we've hardly done that at all yet for level 2. We've been focusing on level 1 and the level 1 boss fight, which shouldn't be too much longer before we can reveal it. But anyway, you can see now that I got this power, the level is close to a walkthrough, which is, you can imagine before when you could completely spam that attack.
Yeah.
But I should show. Let me try with the Ram Man here. Let's get him to throw it and whack it back at him. So you can see that's a lot of fun to get them to. There we go. Get them to kill themselves with their own bomb. It's pretty fun. Anyway, so another thing to keep in mind, when you're stuck in certain moves, you can't jump. So keep that in mind, time your attacks carefully, because if you're doing this while a heart regen is flying over that you really want, you're stuck. You can't do anything else while you're doing this. So,
Right.
Don't get yourself in a situation like that. If you need the power-up that's coming and the arrow is doing the countdown, try to avoid doing moves that are going to get you kind of gummed up. And that really is it. We've reached the end of that level too. So I hope everyone enjoyed the preview of the game if you didn't catch it on the Amiga Bill Twitch stream. I hope everyone enjoyed this preview, and we're really looking forward to being able to reveal the boss relatively soon. So I guess that is it for this video. Thanks everyone for watching.
The link's in the description, and we'll see you soon.